Okay, yeah, good practice today. We scrimmaged. We did a lot of different situations. I think we got close to, 75 to 80 live reps with our offense and defense, and then had some special team stuff, a punt and PAT field goal, things like that. And pleased with what I saw from the team. I thought it was good to see the guys tackle a little bit, and good to see all our the offense march down the field, and for our defense to get some stops, it was good. So, as a head coach, you can't be extremely happy because there's some concerns or some spots that I think we need to get better. But for the most part, I am excited that the team and the energy is out there, and it was a good way to end the day, end the week, have a good physical practice and scrimmage, and I really like the way our team's progressing right now. So feel good about where we're at right now, and looking forward to getting to next week, getting some live work in the stadium, and building more game type situation, game like environment.
We'll start questions from Jay, Jared, and Matt. Jay, I think you're on mute.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's good to see you, though.
Monday, you said the offense won the day, I think is what you said after this first scrimmage.
Yeah.
How would you assess today? Did the defense bounce back? Did they show signs of getting on an even field?
Did, but I think the offense still did some good things. I think if you're looking at it, you give the edge to the offense. We held some guys out on defense that as we start working towards, it's going to have to start shifting towards the Navy look, but there's some guys that we wanted to take a look at that maybe aren't as proven as some of the guys that we held out. But I that's no reason. I think that's not anything to take away from our offense. I think our offense did a great job. And, if I'm looking at it now, not even be able to watch the film, I'd say the quarterbacks did a great job. And looking on the offensive side, running backs handled the ball really well. I thought Tyler Algier, Lopini Katoa, and Hinckley Ropati did a great job running the ball. Saw some good runs from Jackson McChesney as well. And we were able to get some good looks at Luke Andrada and Javel. So the run game was really nice. Pass game was on point. So I thought Zach and Jaron and Baylor threw the ball really well. Had Soldier able to throw the ball as well. So we had some good moves. I would say the one offense did a really good job, and with one O line, whoever was with that one O line, they did some good. I think they might have scored on every drive, which is good.
Is that a concern at all, that you always have that quandary where when one unit does well, the other, does not do as well? Are you concerned about the defense at this point?
No, because when we held a good number of guys without Kyrus up front, it's really difficult, but we were able to get some good looks. I don't want to say that the offense, completely killed it, but I think we saw some good things from the D line. We got some good looks for Gabe Summers up front. Seleti Fevaliaki did a good job up front. Tyler Batty had a really good physical day. Fisher Jackson did well as well. Looking at the D line, it's that we were able to get those guys some really good looks. And then I thought Max Tooley did some really good things too. He forced 2 fumbles today with his hits, and he's flying around. We were trying him at different spots, and the linebackers I thought performed well. And it's just one of those things where you're looking at the matchups and you're looking at plays, and there's always concerns for the head coach when you're thinking of depth at different places, but the bodies are there, and when we're testing guys, I think you're going to get some especially when you're going against a physical offensive line. I think there's a good test for these young D linemen to step up, so but from what I saw from Gabe and those the other guys that we played at D line that I mentioned, these guys are slippery and strong, and sometimes that's not the best time to be slippery when you're trying to be stout, and so it's the best way to teach them is through experience and having a big physical line, just get after them, and eventually they're going to have to hold their ground. I thought they bowed up a little bit in the scrimmages today and in the reps, and so I'm pleased with the talent there and the bodies. So just need to keep working. We have some more work to go with those guys.
Okay, Jared?
Hey, Kalani. So to start out, I've got to continue our theme from these Zoom calls and get your analysis of Jay's pajamas there that you get to see this time. I'm just kidding. I just, the guys talked the other day about how one of the ways that the team feels like they've addressed some of the psychological ups and downs of this season is focusing on having fun, and how the coaches have really focused on making this a fun fall camp and just really enjoying day to day. What's that like for you? Because I know that's the type of personality you generally have, is the love of football. But what's it like seeing that permeate the team this year like it has?
Well, I think the key is to keep progressing as a group, and looking at the individuals. It's hard to have fun when you're getting knocked in the mouth, and you're taking the basically the most of the force in a negative way, right? But I think it's good for the guys to know that they're getting better and to use the technique and the fundamentals. I think this is a group that, I think with what's happening already, they're already just have so much gratitude to be out here and to practice, and I think they're not letting any moment pass by, So they don't take anything for granted, and I think it's with the circumstances that's happening in the world today and in our country, and especially in college football. So I think they have the different attitude towards it. I don't know if it could be anything attributed to me as a head coach, but I have a coaching staff and an environment right now with this culture of the team where the players have a lot of freedom to express their feelings and express their frustrations and whatever it is going on in their mind. We communicate really well, and when you're doing that, I think it's easy for people to know where they stand. It may not be the best news that they want to hear, but at least it's the truth, and they know how to fix it. So I think they can respect that. When you're doing all that and you have a lot of confidence in the system, it's a good and enjoyable moment. And even when it's physical and you're getting hit, and I mean, we have guys limping around after some striking today. We had some tackles that were really violent, and guys got up and limped off, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, loving it." These guys are having fun with it, So they have an opportunity to feel sore right now and recover, but this is a lot of good live reps and fast pace, and looking at the energy that our guys had. This is the leadership of the team taking over, and the reason why it's a lot of fun is because they're good human beings that appreciate where they're at and have a lot of gratitude in the way that they approach things.
Okay, thanks.
Kalani, you mentioned in your opener there's a few groups that aren't to the level that you want them to be at. Which groups are those, and what do they need to do to get to the level you want them to be at?
Well, I mean, if no head coach is going to be really excited about right now in practice 10 that we're set, we're in a really good spot, right? And so it's all in moments. Today we wanted to test some young guys on defense and put them in a difficult spot. When they're going against the twos or threes on O-line, it's a different deal when you're going against James Empey and you're going against Brady Christensen and those guys that are just loading up on you. And then it's a good way to kind of introduce them to what college football is all about, and especially when it's going live and not a quick whistle. It's bodies to the ground, things like that. And I think the only way to get better at football is to play football. And we told these guys going into it from yesterday to prepping them that we're going to need some great technique and some toughness. And so the concerns aren't really, to me, it's not a matter of talent or skill. It's just a matter of experience. They just got to get beat up a little bit more, and know how to take it, and then also how to defend it. And so that's the key. We have a lot of guys that I think can fit. We have good depth on the team right now, and we want to keep progressing with our depth. Our depth is only going to be as good as we can make it, right? And so allowing them to go against the best is going to be important for them. And that's kind of what I don't want anyone to think that I'm really concerned about. It's just what it is. Like, welcome freshmen to football. This is, an All-American candidate at tackle that's going to block you, and then here's an All-American candidate at tight end that you have to cover as a linebacker and as a safety. And it's a good way to introduce them to football, and with that style that we have, that I think our offense does. It's nothing is more important than experience, and experience in live moments is going to be the key.
Norma?
Hey, Coach. So you mentioned that next week you're going to move over to the stadium to do some live practices there and start turning some of the focus to Navy. When does that focus go full force to Navy? and just actually getting the season underway?
Well, we've been prepping it a little bit and working on it part-time, right? And I still think it's a little early. We're still trying to compete right now in certain spots for playing time. And so hard to do that when you don't have scout teams. So right now we're kind of going through the assignments, the scheme, talking about what we're scouting from what we're seeing on film. And then once we start moving to scout teams, then we'll get really focused on that. I would say maybe midpoint next week you'll probably see us kind of migrate towards that a little bit more heavily, and then we still need to play some defense that's to give our offense a look. I think the speed is important for them to see the speed on the field and not get used to always going against scout teams. And then when we go against our scout team, is teaching them how to run the Navy system, how they block, how they cut, how they run the ball, and we're going to have a lot of live tackling moments in practice against our scouts as well in that system against the option. So it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of bumps and bruises, and let's just train them and get them ready. But I think we'll try to transition to that towards the later part of next week, but we've already introduced the scheme and introduced some of the stuff that we're going to plan on defending it. Offensively, they do. If you're looking at what their defense does, they're very aggressive. And so I think there's a lot of carryover from our defense and what they're seeing in the live moments to what they might see from Navy.
Jared, and then Jake.
It was announced yesterday, Kalani, that you get a home game in late September. Just talk about being able to have that opportunity signed and as long as it's able to go, but at least having that chance now. Yeah,
just really excited. Thankful to Tom and the administration for getting it done, and for Troy, and we're excited. Ryan Pugh's there as the offensive coordinator, so a guy that we know really well and that we love, So I know that he and Chip are going to have that team ready, and looking at the really good coaching staff. They have a lot of talent on their team as well, and they've done some really good things as a group in their first year last year. And as as the OC for Pugh, I was really proud of him. So, he left us as O-line coach and went to go be an offensive coordinator, and really, really impressed with what he's doing right now. And be cool to have him back in Provo and try and defend his offense. So it's going to be a lot of fun as a team, and just to have that on the schedule is a little bit relieving. And I know that we'll probably see some more teams come up in the next little bit as Tom starts working through it.
Kalani, obviously I'm sure you realize BYU is the only team west of Texas that's still playing football right now. Has BYU administration given you any parameters, any guidelines as far as numbers that you have to stay under as far as positive tests to continue playing? They given you any sort of kind of parameters in that respect?
We've been communicating really well as from the administration to the sports medicine department, trainers to our players. The communication has been awesome, and so every day we're talking about things, and we're testing, and we're looking at screening and doing our part to keep it a low risk environment here at BYU. And I'm going to keep working with them. That's not my expertise. I know more about football than I do about the virus and things like that. But what I do know is what they've taught me and how to control the environment and how to keep it low risk. And so we've done that as a coaching staff as much as we possibly can with our equipment and helping the players have access to all the different things that we think could help them keep it safe while they're playing football, whether it's the guards on their face mask or the having the gaiters or different masks on. We've kept our masks on during meetings, and then even at practice we try to keep our social distancing going on even during water breaks. It's a little different because we actually have to go to old school water breaks where we blow it up and they all walk to the water, and everyone has their own water bottle and they stay away from each other and drink. And it's been different, but just thankful that we have a wonderful staff and they can help it work, with our sports medicine department and keep educating us. This thing changes daily, and a lot of things happen. So as long as they keep working with us and helping improve and adapt to whatever happens, I think we're okay. I'm going off of what they tell me to do. I said last time on Monday, I'm just going to keep going until they tell me stop. And I listen to their guidance and listen to their advice, and I'm going to do my part and let them be the experts at their field.
Hey, Coach, we have two more questions, one from Jason and then Norma.
Kalani, you mentioned that, like, from a psychological standpoint, just being out on the field, that's been helpful. With everything else that's going on, where things are shutting down for a lot of other programs and conferences, is it also a psychological lift for you and the guys to see a game being scheduled? And you mentioned there may be some others, down the line. How much of a psychological lift is that as well, that the administration is continuing to try and schedule games and moving it forward like that?
Well, I think what's being missing a lot, and I'm glad you brought that up, is it's not just the psychological lift from getting scheduled and trying to get things a little bit back to as normal as possible, but it's actually just the interaction and conversations. With us trying to keep social distancing and try to practice it and keep in low risk environment, I think what we miss out on, and what I've seen a lot of our guys are doing, is just talking with masks on and keeping 6 feet away and just having a normal conversation with people. I think the interaction is what a lot of what we're missing, as humans, and that connection. And so I think what's been really cool about us being here and being able to practice, that they have that available to them. And I've just seen that it's given the players a lot of relief just to have that connection to people, and it's just little things like just having a simple conversation about anything, whether it's about the NBA or Major League Baseball or whatever it could be. Just having these guys or talking about families, that's what they miss. It's just not the same as it would be, texting and things like that. Just the eye-to-eye contact and the interaction, seeing someone's emotions, even though it's hidden through a mask. It's just that seeing someone eye to eye is it's something that I think we've all missed in our society.
Hey, Norma.
Hey, Coach, has Tom had any conversation with you as to, this is the cutoff date, this is the last day, I will be fighting to put an even bigger schedule together, and then by then just move forward with what we've got?
No, I know that I know one thing, Tom's just been working, so he hasn't put any limits on anything. He just keeps working. He's the busiest man I've seen around for a long time. Just the weeks have been filled with him. Even when we have our meetings and stuff, his phone's always blowing up. So I appreciate all the hard work that he's putting through, and his staff. Those guys have been working really hard. So I'm really thankful that they've been trying to do this and make it work. And then thinking about it from AD's perspective, he's going from running the teams and then trying to keep the players safe, and then also listening to the doctors and people in the medical field and their opinions, and then assessing all that and talking to the coaches. He's done a great job of communicating with all of us, and so been really, really cool to see his leadership take place, and I'm honored to have him as an athletic director.
Hey, I think we're good, Coach. Thanks for coming.
All right, guys, stay safe.
Have a good weekend.
One day I'll be able to see you guys eye to eye, so thank you. Thank you for everything you do for BYU football. Thank you.